Hey guys, welcome to another video, and this is HART crit. This is my second crit that I've ever done, and I'm just going to run through some of the highlights of the crit as well as some pivotal moments of the race. Now they say hindsight is 20/20, and that's why I love reviewing my race footage, because let's be honest, there are many things that I could improve on. A big example of that is I think I actually have a decent engine, I have a decent FTP, but I don't have a very good sprint, so I think I need to angle my tactics in a way that really benefits where my fitness is at and also my style of riding. If you are new to this channel, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, left a like, and if you like what you see on the screen, maybe leave a comment below or if you have some feedback for me. Alright guys, let's get into the footage. This is the brand new overlay that I've set up. Look, I'm still tweaking a bit. People have been leaving me some advice in the comments and I've been trying to incorporate some of that there. But in the left hand side, we've got the gradient, cadence and heart rate. Middle of the screen, we've got our watts. On the right hand side of the screen, we've got the speed. And in the top right, I love this new feature here. We've got the lap timer, which show you how many laps we're going to do, which is 15 laps a day, the time of the current lap, and it'll also show you the fastest lap of the day. Now this is only my second crit. I've released a video on this same course maybe end of last year, and what you can see right now is it is a super hard course. We're going up a 15% hill right now, and this course is really defined by that hill and also that really tight corner before it. That is the two trickiest parts of this course. Apart from that, we've got a slow uphill drag here, which is quite painful. We're heading into a little bit of a headwind here, and then that whole back straight where the finish line is, that's all downhill. Last time I raced here, end of last year, the winner of the race was actually from a breakaway, and my style of riding is definitely more orientated towards a breakaway, and I was quite disappointed when he got let go and I didn't end up bridging that back or going over him. So this race here, my number one goal was to get in a breakaway. My cousin's also here. He's wearing the same kit as me, which is that black kit with the croissants on it, with the Pastries.CC on the back, and he's got a mean sprint. So there is no way I'm going to win this race if I go with him to the finish line. In my head, I knew that I had to do a breakaway. So just to recap, goal number one, get into a breakaway. Goal number two, make sure that no brakes got away that looked dangerous. I need to be part of it. And goal number three, that really hard corner with the uphill, I need to position myself really well for that, because you can lose a lot of time and spend heaps of energy trying to make up distance in that corner and uphill. Now originally I was going to skip ahead to some more interesting parts of the race, but we have one right off the bat here. This is on the second lap. I looked over my shoulder and we actually had a gap to the group, and this guy comes rolling around me, so we've got a breakaway of two, and I'm like, why not? Let's just give it a crack, because in previous races it is not uncommon for people to have a very early breakaway at the start of the race and just disappear. So this guy was willing to put in a dig. I sat on his wheel, he did the first turn, and here we go. He's putting in a decent effort. I thought I need to keep this momentum going, so I come round him, he jumps onto my wheel, and we are absolutely flying 44 kilometers an hour on this straight here. And I'm hoping that we can build up enough of a gap that the people behind us are not encouraged to try and close it down. Now in my head I was like, I will hammer it round to this corner here, make it to this corner and try and get as good of a line through here as possible. After practicing this one a few times, I think it's better to go slightly wider and then go through this inside corner. Even though it's steeper, it is shorter. So, but looking back, once I was going around this corner, the rest of the group had pretty much caught up to us. So we had a half a lap flyer, but it didn't go anywhere. In retrospect, I think these kind of moves only work if there is hesitation in the group behind. Because it is so early in the race, everyone's got a lot of energy, people are still motivated to chase down, and the only time it doesn't is when people kind of looking at each other, umming and ahhing about who should close the gap. In this scenario, it didn't work. Would it work in the future? I think it would, and I'll have to give it another go. Alright, let's skip ahead to some more interesting parts of the race. Alright, we're ahead to lap 5 now, and I don't know if you can notice, but there's actually some water on my camera, and that's because there's a very light amount of rain. And we've already seen the first casualty here on the ground. This is from B grade. They're maybe half a lap ahead of us. But this guy here, what's probably happened is he's taken this really sharp corner, crossed over on the painted line and just slipped out. Now this was a big wake-up call for us, because we weren't riding too unsafely, but you can see all it takes is a little bit of rain, you get a tiny bit of slick on the ground, and when you're taking those corners at speed, you can absolutely come off the bike. Now, because of that crash on the ground, everyone was calling for a bit of a neutral lap. Not a full neutral lap, maybe for only a couple of 100 meters. But the call right now is everyone on? Everyone's on, so the pace went back up. Michael's on the front, absolutely drilling it. We're doing 500 watts going up this incline here. You can tell everyone's pretty gassed because it's just single file and all strung out. I think my position here is not too bad. There's about 14-15 people in the C grade field here. I'm sitting in the front half of the pack. Not getting a very good sit. You can see that wheel on the right of me. This guy here is trying to fight for that wheel as well. So look, I'm not having a great time. I could be getting a better draft. That's something I need to improve on. But look here, Michael's on the front. The pace increases just so slightly, and as we're going around this corner, I can see him looking over his shoulder and he is just revving it up. My main concern here was that there was going to be a snap in the elastic. Someone was going to let the wheel go and he was just going to ride off into the distance, but I can see that people are absolutely hammering it right now. We're doing 400 watts just going down straight here up to 50k an hour, and I'm looking up past this rider in front of me to make sure that no one is getting off the front. And sure enough, it looks like one rider has managed to detach himself, and no one is closing him down. Michael is still on the front. Obviously he's tired from doing his effort, but no one has come around to close that gap. I see there's a gap between Michael and the rider behind him, so I know I should slot myself onto Michael's wheel, so I do a big effort here to come around the group to make sure I don't miss this split. We're putting in a big effort to close this gap to this guy. I haven't even attached myself to Michael's wheel completely. I'm trying to take the corners a little bit safely. You can see the water on the lens of the camera. There's a little bit of a sprinkle still, and we'd only just seen that guy crash only a minute or two ago. But here we go. We're coming up to that really tight corner now. I'm going to try and take it a little bit wider. I'm following Michael's line. And let's see if we can make this breakaway of 3 stick. I can tell the guy at the front is pretty gassed, his head is down, his shoulders are rocking quite a bit, and I'm telling Michael right now, mate, it's your turn to take a pull, come on, let's get away. But I think Michael's pretty gassed as well, so I thought, alright, I'm just going to have to be the one that pulls through and just tries to make this breakaway get away from the main group. So here I am jumping on the front, just putting in some watts but not going too crazy. I think for me on the front, a good sustainable pace for like a nice like 15 to 30 second effort is around 300 watts. So that's what I'm trying to pump at right now. This is a good location on the track to try and get distance on the group. It's a downhill section, so people behind are usually not too encouraged to chase down when they know the people behind them are getting a big draft. But this ended up being our fastest lap of the race so far, 2 minutes 23 for a circuit which is about 1.5 kilometers. Alright, we are skipping ahead now to lap 9, and this is the breakaway which I committed 100% to. You can see off the top of the screen there's one guy solo. This young gun here is bridging the gap, and I'm thinking this is the move that I need to make. So I'm putting in a huge dig just to bridge over, make sure no one's in my wheel, just snap that elastic band and just absolutely sending it and trying to close it to this guy in the orange jersey. I look over my shoulder, that young gun, he's managed to latch on, but that's okay, I don't mind bringing one other person over, and I managed to bridge that gap. I make it up to this guy here, and I let him know that it's the 3 of us in a breakaway. We've probably got about a 50-meter gap, and I'm really gassed here. Anything above 185 heart rate, and I'm probably in the hurt box, but I've got the momentum, and I know if I need to make this breakaway work, I have to just commit to it 1000%. So I just keep pumping it. I'll let these 2 guys sit in my wheel, and when I get onto this straight here, I'm flicking the elbow just to let this guy take the downhill. Here I am sitting in his wheel, he's having a good smash as well, but look at that, he flicks his elbow and it was like 50 meters. I got about 10 seconds of rest there. So I was like, oh man, alright, look, I just need to make this work, because if we are not cooperative with each other, we're never going to get away. So here I am putting in another effort here on this downhill section, just to let these guys have a little bit more rest. Like I said, I really want to make this breakaway work. I think 3 is a good number. We've only got about 5 laps left, so I'm like, this is it, we can make it, guys. So I'm just going to put my head down, try and keep that gap to the group, and let's just see how it goes. Look, I can kind of tell my breakaway compadres are not feeling the best. This guy here, his head's pretty down, and usually he rails this corner here, but we're taking it pretty gently. And I know it's not for lack of motivation, but I think he's just gassed. He's putting in a good dig up this hill, but look, I think that together, us working, as long as I can have a bit of a rest every now and then in the wheels, we can make this work. So he's had his go there. I'm going to come around now and just give some assistance going up this uphill straight into the wind. Look, I'm very conscious that the group is not that far behind us. When we're going to that corner, I look back over my shoulder and the gap is probably only 50 meters. That is enough for someone who, you know, someone who has feeling energetic enough to try and jump that and over that gap. So I'm still putting in big watts to try and get us away. I'm very tired here, so here I am flicking the elbow, hoping that someone will pull through. And here we go, the young gun's back at it. I'm going to slot onto the end here, and we're going to go for another round. Alright, I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit further down along with this breakaway. Lap time was not too bad, 2 minutes 30, a little bit slower than our fastest lap, but I think we're working together pretty well. Here we go. Like, other people are having a turn, and look, we've got a 4th person who joins our group. This guy here, he's bridged that gap, joined us, and we've got a breakaway 4. I'll tell him, come on man, keep going, but he is just letting the wheel go. I think he just spent all his matches trying to catch up to us. I turned to him and I said, come on, we've got 4 people, let's make this happen. He says, I am gassed, mate, I can do no more. So now I'm like, okay, I think this whole cooperation thing has fallen apart. I'm just going to go in the front and just see if I can maintain the gap just by myself. Look, there's only about maybe 4 or 5 laps left. That's about 10 minutes left in this race. But look, the cooperation in the group fell apart, and here we go. The rest of the group is caught back onto us. I managed to slot myself into 3rd wheel, and let's skip ahead and see how this race plays out. Alright guys, we skipped all the way ahead to the very last lap. Here we are crossing the finish line here. The bell is going, 1 lap to go. My cousin Michael's on the front. He's not pushing it too hard, but what I'm thinking is I'm no good in a sprint. I need to do a long distance attack. So what I'm thinking is I can roll around the front here. What I really want him to do is just let me go. Just let me go, let me go. Let the gap open up, and because people are not motivated, because he's not chasing me down, they'll probably not be motivated either. So I'm putting in some effort here, just trying to get away, hoping that the people behind me won't be motivated to do a long distance attack with me. And look, I wouldn't say I'm 100% like going for it, but my heart rate is pretty elevated and I'm quite tired at this point. But here I am having good dig. I turn over my shoulder and Michael's behind me, and I think I say to him, I'm like, mate, just let the wheel go. But I don't think he actually heard. Either he didn't hear me, or he was playing his own tactics. So I end up doing the worst thing possible, which is leading out everyone to this last corner here. I'm keeping the speed and the power high in this section here, and the main reason is I didn't want people overtaking me before this final corner. I wanted to have my own choice of the line here. So I do manage to go through it 1st wheel. I get my choice of the corner going through this uphill drag here, and I'm just heads down pumping out the watts. Now what my only hope here is that I can gas the people behind me enough that they are too tired to contest me in a sprint. But let's be real, this is a little bit of a headwind section and they are not getting the freest of drafts, but they are doing less power than me. Now this section here, everyone had fanned out across the road and there is a bit of a Mexican standoff. You can't see it here, but everyone is on my side of me. We're all riding parallel, and here we go. People are pushing it now. This guy in the green bike here, he's been doing really well in some races, so I thought this is the wheel that I should jump on. Also, it's on the outside, so I won't get boxed in as if I was riding on the inside. So I'm following this wheel, but man, I am running out of juice. My heart rate is in the high 180s, which means I'm in the box, but I do manage to get out of the saddle and do a 700 watt sprint. But man, I could not snap close that gap, and these two are riding off. Now I'm just going to put my head down. The finish line is not too far away, and I do another seated effort, only getting up to 600, 700 watts for a brief second and maintaining about 400 or 500. And here I am thinking I get third, but no, the young gun pips me by half a wheel right on the line. Props to him, he did an awesome effort today. Super strong ride from him, and man, good on him. Michael came first, and it looks like I am cursed with only getting 4th place. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that footage as well as the commentary. Maybe you want to see the whole video of this race up on YouTube. Let me know, maybe I'll consider uploading the full race footage. There's a lot of things I can learn from that race. I think one of them is trying to discern better which breakaways will work, which ones won't, so I use my energy more efficiently. And I think another one I need to work on is also conserving my energy before the end of a race. So if it does go to a reduced bunch sprint, I have enough power just to get myself over the line and snag a podium. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a comment below if you got any advice for me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.